Everybody, welcome to the swing update for March 30th, 2022. A little bit of a choppier day today. A little bit of direction at the end of the day on the downside, but overall, we pretty much stayed range bound. Today, so we came into the day, I was leaning bearish. I was looking for a gap fill on the daily to the EMA support in the short term, which we did end up getting to and filling it almost to like the penny, which is great to see. So we reset from a technical standpoint on that. A lot of the high PE tech names did the same thing. A lot of the big cap names did the same thing in regards to resetting, pulling back to extensions if they had run ups. Some names that didn't quite get there were like Tesla, Apple, but I think by tomorrow that gap will probably be pulled up and filled by then. So shouldn't be too concerned about that. Anywho, what did we do today? So on the equity side, a whole bunch of different names. We did trade today. So we did do, as usual, Tesla out the gate. So we did some Tesla long, which ended up working quite nicely. We took it at 1093. We ended up getting about 20 points on that to the upside, so that was a really good trade. BNTX, we took this one at 183. Or sorry, no, 185.91. We scalped that to the upside to the 188s, moved stops to entries, ended up getting stopped out of that. Did mRNA as well this morning out the gate. We took this at 184, scalped it to 187s. We ended up, moving stops up fairly quickly on that. We were moving stops up pretty fast on everything today, just because I felt it was more of a scalp type of day, because we're going to be an inside day trading on the market, and that ended up being the right decision. ISPO, we took it 866. We got about a point. Well, we got a point and 1 cent to the upside on that. That was a nice one out the gate as well. So good trade there. We also did some. We did some DATs, which worked for about like 12 cents. It was nothing huge, but 13 cents actually to the upside. Nothing crazy, but it did work out okay on that. So decent little trade there. A couple other names that we did trade. I'm just moving this over so I can look faster through my trades here. All right. UPST long at 117.18 or 117.85 this morning. Play that into the 125s. That was a nice trade there. So what, 6-7 points on that. Fucho long the $38.58 level. We play that into the 39s. Move stops up again pretty quick. Got stopped out the rest of that after that first push. We got a nice little move though. We sold into that move, one half of it. We took LITM this morning at 760. This was a great trade. We got a nice 2 points of room to the upside. We actually held the rest of this overnight. I'm looking for continuation on that. I want to see 981 break, get this into 1180s, and then it's going to be a straight shot through all-time highs. And I think with bullish catalyst and bullish catalyst and a low float type of name, it's a recipe for a big move. So that's great. Crowd, we played this at 227s into the 331 area. Again, scalped it to the upside, ended up getting stopped out the rest. We tried some ALLG today long. That one didn't end up working. We ended up getting stopped out of that. Probably will revisit that tomorrow. Interesting chart. We took BA long this morning, traded it into the 195 area, ended up getting, or actually exiting out the rest of this when it started to pull back. But it was a decent trade, couple points to the upside there. And other than that, we scalped UPST a couple times. Again, we did W at 124 long into the 127 area. So that was a nice little 3-point trade there. We did Indo long at 26.46 into the 28.40 level. That was a nice one there. And then we got a little bit choppy in the middle of the day. We tried some Lulu, ended up getting stopped out of that one. That starter. We tried some GME, ended up getting stopped out of that starter as well. On the long side was a little bit of a double top. We did some MULN scalp to the upside from 278. That ended up working nicely into the 315s. Smaller name on scalp when the guy came on Benziga. Big shout out to Beth for shouting that one out as well. It's a great little trade. We tried some Tesla again at the end of the day on this little curl. We got a nice little pop on that. We ended up selling into that, moving the stops up. And we actually ended up shorting Tesla on this range break for a couple points to the downside as well. So that was a good little trade. Roku, we also took short to the downside, which worked out nicely for about 1.5 points. And then other than that, I think there was one more trade that we did. No, that's it. So, on the equity side, pretty good hit rate. Couple trades didn't work, but overall, we did quite well because, considering how choppy it was. Options a little bit of a different deal. We had a couple things overnight which worked out nicely, like Dash. We had the 115s, which ended up going 640% to the upside. We had some nickel along, which ended up going up a couple 100%, almost 300% on that. GMIA, the 10 calls, which went up over 300%, about 400% to the upside on that. So that was a good one. And then there was a couple things that we had intraday that worked out okay. It was a pretty choppy day on the option side, and I kept saying, be small. If you have a small account, don't trade on the option side. I think, it was probably the best to stay away, but we'll go through those trades. Anyways, a lot of kind of smaller percentage gains out the gate. So out the gate, we did some MU90s. These ended up not working. Ended up failing pretty quick. They went up about 20-30% and then came back on us. So, it was kind of a meh type of movement, meh type of trade. So that was, one that didn't work. FCX, we did the 52 calls, which ended up working quite nicely. I think these went up over 100%. Let's take a look. And they actually held up quite nicely at the end of the day too. About 60-70% on that. MOS, we took the 70 calls on a scalp this morning as well. That ended up working okay for a little gain there. Again, nothing huge percentage-wise on that one. It was about 75%. AMD 125 calls, which is probably one of the better ones we did this morning, from 159. Ended up getting those actually in the money. So that was a decent little trade there. That was about, what? It's hard to see one of the trades close, guys. It doesn't give me percentage. 65%, so got to look. A couple other ones that we did. We tried some Oxy. That one didn't work. FCX worked nicely. We tried some TSM. That ended up not working. Afrin, we took that. That ended up working nicely. Walmart, the 150 calls, which ended up getting in the money. We actually held the rest of these overnight. Above 100% trade on that. It's about 140, 150%. We tried a little bit of play to the upside. Beth actually nailed play out the gate, which was fantastic. And then we ended up on the play making about 30% on that. 50% on the options trade that I took, which was okay. NEG, that one we took, didn't work. LTHM, we took the 30 calls, which ended up going up almost 200%. 167% was where we sold some. DE ended up taking the 430 calls for about 60% on those. Tilray, the 9 calls, which ended up only going about 20%. Okay trade, but it did come back pretty quick. AI took that, didn't work. Continue to scroll down. We sold some of the Dash Roll, the 130s, which worked for about 300%. That was a good trade. We tried some SDC3 lottos. Those ended up not working. We tried some SPY puts at the end of the day. We took 2 sets, the 457s, which worked nicely, and then the 456s, which we sold for over 100%. So all in all, on the option side, you can see it was fairly mixed, guys. Some stuff worked, some stuff didn't. It was okay. I mean, I think equity is the way to go, obviously, on choppy days, because you can't really get big on the option side, but you can certainly scalp some of the trades. All in all, decent day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I think we read the market pretty well today, so I'm happy with that. And I think tomorrow's set up for continuation higher, so we'll see what happens. I think the market's got a little bit of room. Probably an inside day. We'll see if we can break out. There's some tech names that I think could break out, like Tesla, to the upside. But we'll see how we gap overnight. That's going to be the biggest thing. Anywho, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We do stream from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern every single day. Discord chat is open 24/7. As well, we were supposed to do the YouTube stream this morning. We had a technical issue, so I just said let's push it to tomorrow. So we're going to be doing the YouTube stream as we would typically do every single Wednesday on Thursday tomorrow, which is the 31st. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, and enjoy the rest of your day.